I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Matt Westin. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing pretty well. It's really good to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sure, it's my pleasure. What part of the world are you in right now?
Right now, I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my hometown.
All right. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
Well, I have a lot of talents, but I think we're talking right now because I am a recording artist and I'm a singer. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, tell me more. Tell me more about the type of music you sing, please.
Sure, yeah. I've always been a fan of country music, all from the old school stuff all the way to some of the modern stuff. So my country music is a blend of the older classic outlaw country with some of the rock country and a little bit of modern country as well. Kind of along the lines of, I'd say, like a Toby Keith or a Garth Brooks style of music with a little bit modern twist so that it fits in with contemporary music.
Yeah,
So it has a little bit of something for everyone.
most definitely. And folks, I'll tell you, this guy doesn't look the way he songs. Like his voice doesn't match the way he looks, at least for me. And when I looked at you, it was pretty amazing to see the depth that your voice went into. Yeah, definitely Garth Brooks. Yeah, I could see that for sure, for sure. Who did you learn that skill from? That skill of being able to do what you do via music?
hmm well, I'm pretty much self-taught. Um, when I was young, when I was a kid, I couldn't sing. Like I tell people, I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. I was I wasn't a good singer, but I pretty much taught myself listening to some of my favorites, like Garth Brooks and Toby Keith and Johnny Cash and Hank Williams Jr. But the person that really taught me how to sing, believe it or not, was Frank Sinatra. Listening to Frank Sinatra and trying to sing like he did back when I was a teenager. And that's how I developed my voice, emulating one of the legends of music. So, but I ended up in country music because I think it fits my voice and just it fits my personality, and it's music that I love. So, it's a little bit of a strange way to get there. You know, it's a kind of a an awkward path, but Frank Sinatra pretty much taught me how to sing country music.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing. Now,
yeah.
where's the best place for people to connect and hear your music?
Well, you can find me on mattwestin.com. And my music is on Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, pretty much you name it. Anywhere that has online retailers for music, my music is there.
Well, do tell us one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
hmm Well, I'll tell you what, the last 3 years of my life have been pretty crazy. I've moved across the country twice. I lost my father, and that was one of the reasons why I moved. I moved back home here to Pittsburgh. And I'd have to say one of the most consistent things over the last 3 years, especially the last 3 years, is change. Change has been very consistent. And I'm learning to accept that as a part of life, because I was always very resistant to change. And over the last 3 years, I've learned to accept change because it's a very crucial part of life. And without change, you can't grow. So I would have to say, over the last 3 years of my life, change is the biggest thing that has been a consistent thing in my life.
Where did you move from to get to Pittsburgh?
Well, I grew up here, and I've lived here most of my life. But I lived in Los Angeles for a little while. I was pursuing acting, and not too long after I moved to Los Angeles, in California, my father got sick. So, I was traveling back and forth home, back there and back and forth. And I never really got settled in Los Angeles, unfortunately. And when I moved back to Pittsburgh after my father passed away, uh, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was just lost. I was devastated. I was angry. And by the grace of God and by, the help of my family and friends, I was able to turn all this negative stuff into a positive and create this album and dedicate it to my father. So it was, it's very strange. If my father hadn't passed away, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now.
That is
And I'd probably
interesting.
still be in Los Angeles right now pursuing acting. But singing has always been a passion of mine, music in general, really. And it was my father's encouragement through the years and his passing away recently that actually drove me to pursue music as a career. So, life is pretty, it can be bittersweet like that sometimes.
Yeah, how
But
does that make you feel?
it's, it really motivates me because I've dedicated my debut album, Legacy, to my father, and basically I've dedicated my career and my pursuit of music to my father, and that is one of the biggest motivating things that will always keep me focused because I miss him dearly. I love him so much, and I know he'd be so proud of me, and that's what keeps me going to continue to try and make him proud. Um,
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking, but it's also very even that much more fulfilling because I'm doing it for a good reason. I'm not doing it for money or popularity or fame or anything. I'm doing it for something that comes straight from the heart.
That's wonderful. Now, who wrote Our Redneck of the Woods?
Our Redneck of the Woods. I believe that was Thomas Crawford. He's an awesome, awesome writer. Uh, when I heard this song, I knew that I had to record it. It really represents everything that I love about country music and a lot about how I was raised. It represents who I am really as an artist and as a man, and my father would have loved it as well. It talks about God and country and helping others and pride in what you do and where you're from and sticking up for your beliefs and helping other people. It just really has a great message, and it's a great rock and country song with a lot of testosterone, and I love that.
Yeah.
So that song it was the first single off of my album, and I think that was the perfect choice to represent my first appearance on the stage here. So that song is always going to be special to me,
Yeah.
and I'm really glad you asked me about that
Yeah,
song
yeah,
specifically.
definitely. I loved listening to it. Loved the lyrics. It sounded as though like it could fit the character of our conversation, where your father is explaining to you our redneck of the woods. With the gun is in the back there is not for the looks, right? The gun in the back
Yeah,
of the
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
that's just about standing up for yourself and standing up for what's right.
Yes.
And he was always, he was a tough guy. Very, very. He was the toughest man I've ever met, and you wouldn't want to mess with him. But he had the big heart that he would give you the shirt off of his back, and he worked so hard to support his family and anybody that he cared about. It's a combination of softness and a big heart and toughness, and that song I think really captures that.
Love it. All right, my friend. Well, again, amazing audience. You're hearing it live from Matt Westin. You can check him out at mattwestin.com. Matt, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Matt, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Whew. um, Unfortunately, I think it was me taking a pack of bubble gum off of a shelf in a store and taking it home, and my parents realizing that I had taken a pack of gum. So they took me back to the store, and I apologized to the owner, and he let me keep the pack of gum. I think I was about 2.5 years old. And, but you know what? I knew that I had done something wrong, and I'll never forget that. That really stuck in my mind. So
Wow.
that was a life lesson that I learned at 3 years old.
Oh, wow. How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Well, I think that when I look back at that, and I realized that when I was that young, I learned a lesson, and I realized that I had done something wrong that has stuck with me. And I've always tried to be an honorable man, a stand-up guy that you can trust, someone with integrity, someone that that you could look up to. So that was a lesson that I learned very early in life. So I think in the end, I may have done something wrong when I was 2 or 3 years old, but that the feeling of knowing that I was wrong stuck with me. And I try to be a good man every single day. And that hasn't changed since I was 2 years old.
Wow. Yeah, let me add to that. I love the
We learn
idea.
from our mistakes.
Yeah, even the concept as well as what was going on in LA, and then you deciding to, head to Pittsburgh and do what you're doing now, to just see the parallel in decisions, like how important they are, where you're faced with something you can carry out or something you can actually say, you know what, I'm going to do a 360 on this. And I think it's really powerful to be that person who, I mean, it's like walking in faith,
It is.
and
It's all about faith.
yeah, it's fascinating. Love it. Love the parallels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Well, I know when I was in fifth grade, my favorite song in fifth grade was Cotton Eye Joe. Yeah, it was. I don't know if you've heard it, but it was a really upbeat kind of, I guess you would call it a dance song, Cotton Eye Joe. When I was in fifth grade, we put together a time capsule that we opened when we graduated high school. So when I graduated high school, I opened it up and it said my favorite color was black or blue or whatever. My favorite actor was Bruce Lee, and my favorite song was Cotton Eye Joe. And I couldn't believe it. It made me laugh so hard. And yeah, Cotton Eye Joe. yeah.
All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Matt?
I am ready.
Matt, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
No.
Are you married?
No. I'm not married either.
Do you have children?
I do not have children.
Do you believe in God?
Believe in God, absolutely, 100%.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
A very small circle, yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Not usually, no.
All right. How about 3 hours a week?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Less.
If you, Matt, had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
Be true to yourself.
Love it. Matt, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would just like to say thank you. Thank you for listening, and please check out my music. I really appreciate it, and it comes from the heart. And I hope it's a blessing to you as it has been to me.
Love it, Matt Westin. Thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.